Hi, this is Marty with Pezzadoodle Designs, and I am here in partnership with favecrafts.com, and we're going to talk about using pattern paper. A lot of times, especially beginners in the paper crafting, card making genre, will often talk about trouble using pattern papers or how do you use pattern papers. And my first piece of advice is to start with the paper. Because if you start with your solid colors, or if you color an image before you choose anything else, then you're going to be digging through massive amounts of pattern paper trying to find something that matches what you've already done, whereas it's easier to pick your patterns first. So I have two different pads here. One of the easiest ways to do this is to get collections or pads of matching papers. And the first thing I want to talk about is color and theme. The colors in both of these are fairly similar. We've got turquoise, we've got lime green, some pinks, light pink, dark pink. But the actual patterns themselves are very different. This one is more whimsical, whereas this one is a little more vintage. So you want to pay attention not just to color, but also to theme, or the feel of what your patterns are. Something simple like polka dots and stripes, are easy. But also pay attention if the polka dots are sort of distressed and vintage looking and the stripes are very whimsical or bold, then it may not work as well. So I chose a couple of papers from this pad that I'm using, and we have 3 different patterns. The nice thing about this particular pad is the papers are two-sided, so you really have a lot of choices. But here's the 3 patterns I want to use. So how do I go about that? I started by choosing some solid colors that match. All of these would work. But then where do you go from there? One thing you want to keep in mind, if you notice, I have 3 that are dark, 2 that are pale. Your design will be more pleasing to the eye if you have different values. If one of your colors is dark, then you need to add some lighter color, or vice versa. So what I came up with, we're using this as the background of our card. This would be the base of our card. I'd fold it in half. And then I paired this pattern piece on another dark paper to make it stand out and give it a border that separates the two. If you place them on top, they just look busy and they kind of run into each other. When you give them a mat, you give them some definition. They match, but they don't run into each other. I have a third one. And again, if I just stuck it on here, it would be very busy. So I took one of the lighter colors that matches the green base to mat that and set it apart. And then I would stick on my focal point. The last thing I want to talk about that will give you further definition and really set your patterns apart and prevent them from looking like a big jumbled mess is to ink your edges. I have a dark green ink here, and this is a Tim Holtz foam applicator. And I'm just going to go around very lightly around my edges. You almost can't even see the ink. And it's one of those tricks of the eye. Somebody won't look at your card and say, wow, those inked edges look really fabulous. But somewhere in their subconscious, their mind will be saying, wow, there's something about that card that just really stands out. So I'm going to go around and ink all of my patterns, again, giving them some boundaries so that they don't look like they're wandering all over my card. It's just a little art trick that fools your eye. And you'll notice when I put them back down, you will notice a difference. It's subtle, but it really makes the point. My last one here. It just grounds everything so it's not all floating around in space. Okay. So now the card has even more definition. Each pattern piece has its boundaries. And so you can see there are just a few very simple, very quick, easy techniques, and you can combine pattern papers very easily. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got some useful information out of it. If you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you very much.